Anastasia Beverly Hills has launched 2 new mini eyeshadow palettes for holiday. We have the Sugar and Spice palette, and my plan today is to do one eye with each palette, play with the formula, check out the color story. I tend to really love Anastasia's eyeshadow formula. It is one of my favorites, so I have pretty high hopes for these today. This is also my very first mini palette from Anastasia. I know that they've done the mini Sultry and the mini Modern Renaissance, so I'm excited for this. I love a mini palette like this. You got 9 shades in here. I guess here's the inside. And then the other palette is the Spice one. This palette is definitely for the neutral brown lover. We have some good neutrals and a couple more warmer browns in here. I kind of like how they're 2 completely different vibes. Now, I don't know if I would have named them Sugar and Spice. Like, I'm just not getting spice from this. I guess I can kind of get sugar from this one, but I'm excited to put these on the test and do an eye look with each one. So let's zoom in and get started. I'm just gonna quickly prime my eyes with my Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer. I like this primer because it has a little bit of a tint to it, so it does cover up any discoloration on my eyelids. And then of course, it just makes my shadow apply really nice and smooth, and it makes my shadow last longer. A primer is definitely a must. And then I like to add a little bit of a translucent powder to my eyelids just to set that primer in place. All right, and now my eyes are primed and ready for shadow. I think I'm gonna start with the Spice palette on my left eye. I'm liking this kind of more cool tone brown shade. This is A2, so I'm gonna take that on a crease brush. And I'm gonna start by applying this shade on my outer crease. Now in the pan, this looks like one of those shades that is mostly matte that has a little bit of a shimmer in there. So I'm curious to see if that shimmer is going to show up on the eyes at all, because sometimes it doesn't. Okay, I'm definitely seeing this shimmer in that shadow. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It is very, very subtle. It's not bothering me too much or anything, but I'm just taking whatever shadow is left over and kind of bringing that towards my inner crease. I did pick up just a little bit more of that shade, and I'm just building that up. I like that with this palette, there's kind of 2 shades that would work very well as a transition kind of crease shade, which is what I normally start with. I have this option that's a little bit more neutral, leading cool tone, which is this one that I use, but then there's also this more kind of warmer brown shade if you want to go more warm. I love how this B row is just all shimmers. I kind of want to swatch those out because I want to see what I'm working with. So this is B1, B2, and B3. This first one's a little bit more bronzy, almost kind of rose gold, and then this one I'm seeing a nice little green reflect in there, which I always love. And then that third one does lean more pinky. I think I'm gonna go with B1, so I'm gonna take that on my finger. That's what that looks like, and I'm gonna pat this on my entire eyelid. Oh, that's such a pretty lid color. Wow. Like, this is the type of eye look that I like to wear nowadays. I like to keep it pretty simple, just like a matte brown in the crease, a pretty shimmer on the lid, and call it good. So once I have that packed on, I like to go back to my crease brush and just softly blend around the shimmer in the crease area just to make sure there's no harsh lines. I'm gonna do my under eye concealer. I'm using the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Concealer today. And then I always like to use my concealer to clean up this edge of the shadow to give it a more lifted look. And then I'm just setting my lower lash line with a bit of translucent powder to set down that concealer. Now for my lower lash line, I'm gonna go back to that shade I used for my crease on a small firm blending brush and apply that along my entire lower lash line. Okay, now if you wanted a softer, easy look, you can totally stop here, but you guys know me, I like to deepen up my looks and make things a little bit more intense. So on that same brush I just used, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of C1, and I'm gonna use that to deepen up this outer crease area. Ooh, that's pigmented. And I'm trying to avoid my eyelid and just keep this up a bit higher in my crease. Go back to my other brush and use that to blend out that shade. And I'm bringing that darker shade along the outer part of my lower lash line. The shade is so much more pigmented than I expected. I should have picked up a little bit less shadow, but that's okay, I'm gonna make it work. And this deeper shade is definitely bringing some more warmth to this look. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that pink shimmer, and I'm gonna place this shade on the very center of my eyelid. It's very, very subtle, layered on top like that. Now I'm gonna take the deepest matte brown on a small angled brush, and I'm gonna do a little wing with this shadow. And then I'm taking whatever shadows left over on that brush and running across the very outer part, kind of on the base of my lower lashes, just so it connects to the eyeliner. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this eye look with some mascara and lashes. All right, this eye look is all done. I also added an inner corner and brow bone highlight, and for that I just used a Bright from my palette with Sigma. And then for my lashes, I'm just wearing a very small half lash right out here on the outer corner, and for that I'm wearing the Bright Lashes half lash in Whisper. Now the Bright Lashes is my lash brand, and Whisper is finally back in stock, which is why I wanted to use it today. Now this is the smallest half lash that I carry, and I love it because it just looks so subtle on the eyes. It just very softly gives that kind of a cat eye shape. And here's the final eyeshadow look with the Spice palette. Now let's go ahead and do the second eye look, and for this I'm going to use the Sugar palette. I'm going to start with the shade A2 on a crease brush. Now I think I want to do something a bit more ethereal for this look, so I'm going to take this crease shade. I'm right in the center of my eye right now, and I'm going to bring this pretty high up, because I know I'm going to layer a lot of those shimmer shades from this palette because those are such standout shades. So I'm using this crease shade more just to give me a little bit of definition here. Alright, so I just have a very light layer of this shade down in my crease. Looking at these shimmers, there's a couple fun color combos you can do. I kind of want to pair this purple with this greenish shade here. So I'm going to take this purple shade C1 on my finger. That's what that looks like. It definitely looks very soft. And let's go on the eyelid. Oh yeah, that is a sheer color. I did pick up more on my finger because I'm gonna have to layer this up a little bit. I guess that's kind of the vibe of this palette though. Like I kind of get soft, like ethereal vibes from it, but there are some shades that you can use to add some depth as well. I think it's giving me like a sugar plum fairy vibes, you know? I also picked up a little bit of that shade on my crease brush, and I'm just gonna run that throughout my crease. Like I said, there is gonna be a lot of shimmers with this look, so you gotta like a shimmery eyelid. I'm going to pick up a little bit of A3 on my crease brush. I'm going to use that to deepen up this very outer part of my eyelid. I'm actually really glad they put this shade in the palette because I think it pairs really nicely with any of those more colorful shimmers because this is a more cool tone shadow. And it's that same matte formula with a little bit of sparkle in it as well. Now I'm going to take B1 on my finger, and I'm going to place this on the very center of my eyelid. It's a bit more metallic than that purple shade, which I like a lot. I'm going to bring some up a little bit higher, more kind of in the center of my crease area up here. I think that looks really cool with that purple underneath it. Now I'm doing my under eye concealer. Now for the lower lash line, I'm going to go back to that A3 shade on a pencil brush, and I'm running that across my entire lower lash line. I'm also going to go back to that first shade I used, A2, on my crease brush, and I'm just using that to soften up the lower lash line a bit. Then I'm going to pick up more of that green shimmer and pop that on my inner corner. It's funny because I feel like in the pan you really see that kind of green undertone that this has. But on the eyes, kind of by its own like that, it just kind of looks like a very pretty sparkly shade. I feel like I just have to try a little bit of that pink shade. I just have a little bit of that shade, and what if I just place that on the very inner part of my lower lash line? Ooh, I like what that's adding. Just a touch of pink in here. The pink got a little bit messy, but like I said, this was going to be a sparkly look, so I'm kind of okay with having shimmer like all over the place. Now I'm going to take that deepest matte shade on a small angled brush, and just like with the first look, I'm going to do a little wing with that shadow. I love how dark and cool toned this matte shade is. It almost has like, I don't know, a bit of an eggplant, like a very, very deep, deep purple in there. And I love how it goes with this look. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this look with some mascara and lashes. All right, mascara and lashes are on this eye. And again, I just used the same lash. I'm wearing the Bright Lashes Whisper. And here's a final close-up of the look using the Sugar palette. Okay, here are the two looks side by side, even though they're not very comparable and they are from two totally different palettes. I was very impressed by the formula of these two palettes today. It is definitely the Anastasia formula that I know and love, especially when I added too much of that deeper brown shade to this look and I was like, oh, I added too much. It blended out so easily. I didn't have any issues at all with any blending. And I think it's fun how they gave us two totally different mini palettes for the holidays. I think mini palettes are so in right now. Personally, if I had to pick one of the two palettes for myself, I would definitely pick the Spice one. These are just the shades that I like to wear on a daily basis. But I do like how Anastasia gave us something kind of fun and colorful with the Sugar palette. But overall, I'm very happy with the two looks that I created today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.